Well, voting is compulsory as far as I know only in Belgium, yeah, and so the Belgium need to go to. I think indeed voting should be sort of mentally compulsory, perhaps not legally, but mentally for everybody who feels like a good citizen and who wants to actively participate to the public good. Yeah. Look at the French election. I mean, I think what I want to say is what we can measure is that participation in election is shrinking. If you look at the French elections, for instance, the participating rate is shrinking drastically. Not so much with presidential elections, but for instance, local or regional elections, you have 30% of participation. So you can make a real argument, what are parliaments about if nobody wants to go voting, right? The question is, if we see that the system has problems because people do no longer go to vote, because they think that politicians don't change a thing, which is what many people think, yeah, is the answer then to create an obligation to vote? Or have we other answers? And my guess would be that perhaps we need to look for other answers than just addressing the non-participation of voting through compulsory voting. Yeah, perhaps the answer is what we do anyway, which is citizens' assemblies. Look at Ireland, look at France, look at the UK on climate, participatory democracy, discursive democracy. So I think we are just in a time where we are, by the way, the Conference on the Future of Europe was nothing else than a huge deliberation. Yeah, we didn't force, although the participation in the European election was also shrinking. Yeah, and we didn't think, okay, we need to force people to go to the European election. But what we did is we did the Conference on the Future of Europe. So perhaps the answer is not the compulsory voting. Perhaps the answer is new formats of democratic participation. But I can understand that this question comes from the UK, because I guess the shock that especially young people realized my vote could have mattered had I only gone to the Brexit vote, obviously is a trauma for a young generation. And I can see the reflex to say we need to make this compulsory. Yeah, whatever the answer is, the question is the right one. What we see is a huge trend towards the local, towards the bottom up, and towards horizontal networks rather than top down structures. Yeah. So top down structures are no longer trusted in, which is the one thing. And what we see, like parliaments, trust in parliaments, trust in institution, and the local is it, yeah, and the local is regions, the local and towns, yeah. I'm from Barcelona, whatever. I mean, this sort of our identity. I want to make it here. I want to make the better life here. I want to create the bicycle highways here. I want to have the climate friendly energy here in town. It's not in Brussels. All these things. Yeah. So I can see the trend, and it's a huge trend. And I think it's very important because every good action starts at your door. Yeah. So I can see this. The other, and I do not, I do not want to put it into question. It's just like what we need to make sure is the horizontal network that you plug on it. Yeah, because if everybody does only the local, then the real question is, where does the local stop and you no longer take responsibility? And what then about a European fiscal framework and all these things? What about the euro? Because if you say the local, then are we ending up with local currencies again? And are they competing, or do we build walls around towns? And, I mean, if you think this to the end, I'm totally in favor of bottom up structures, decentralized structures. This is what I put in the European Republic 7 years before. And I do see the point that the new Europe is bottom up created, and it's no longer created in pyramidal structures of power, I think this is over. But what we still need to create is the smoothness of is the connectivity of the local constituencies. Yeah, and there I think we need to put brain how we organize it. Yeah, how you make sure that if you are responsible in your town, and perhaps compulsory responsible because you need to participate in the citizens municipality deciding on whatever climate, how you make sure that your responsibility thinks the responsibilities of the other town and local municipalities with you. Yeah, because it shouldn't be a competitive system neither. Yeah, there should be somehow an organized solidarity which is not competing municipality against municipality, because at some point we will need European public goods. We will need trains that go from one, say, from whatever, Stockholm to Lisbon. Yeah, and somebody must pay for these trains to connect the municipalities. Yeah, and so I think there is a sort of dialectical structure to be thought of, which is, yes, everything from the municipalities, everything bottom up, but how do we organize the roof?